This is Island Hopper TV, and today we are coming to you to talk about the best islands in the world, having been to some of the most premier places in the world for islands: the Pacific Island chain, the South Pacific, which is where Thailand, Philippines, Bali, the Mediterranean, as well as some other places around the world like the Caribbean. We're going to talk about some cold climate islands like Iceland and the Aleutian Islands in Alaska. And we're also going to talk about the in-between islands, like the ones in the Sea of Cortez. So if you're excited about this video and you love islands, no matter where they are, you just want to see and find out where the coolest islands are, stick around for this one. This is a live stream. Thanks to everyone who crushes up the likes, letting us know you're out there, also in the comments. So let's go ahead and dive in here and talk about what you need to know about islands around the world. We're also going to talk about some of the restrictions that are going on to get to some of these islands, because right now, as you guys know, there's many restrictions holding up world travel. If you guys tell us in the comments where you're watching from, that will also help me decide where to talk about for you. All right, so as you can see, here's the big blue marble, right? This is planet Earth. What do we need to know about traveling to islands? Well, let's talk about the Caribbean to kick this one off, okay? So right here, you have the Gulf of Mexico and you have the Antilles Mayores. You also have the Lesser Antilles, which are down here. Many, many, many different islands. The biggest one in the Caribbean that you want to know about is Cuba. But if you're an American citizen, you won't be able to get in there. Now, most of these islands actually speak Spanish, even Puerto Rico, which is a U.S. territory. I see you guys already hitting the likes. Thank you to everyone who's already hit the likes. So, Dominican Republic, Cuba, two biggest islands. This is Hispaniola. It's Haiti and Dominican Republic. The only one you can really go to in this area is Hispaniola. But Puerto Rico is a U.S. territory, so it's really easy to get in there without a passport needed, right? You just need a travel card. So the one that I really like going to in this area is the U.S. Virgin Islands. Okay, you guys who've been watching this channel know about the U.S. Virgin Islands. So you have St. Croix right here, you have St. Thomas, and then St. John. There's also many other islands around there. And then in Puerto Rico, you have the Spanish Virgin Islands, okay? I don't know if you guys can see. Let me see if I can move that little screen there. But yeah, so you have the Spanish Virgin Islands, the U.S. Virgin Islands, and then the British Virgin Islands. So Caribbean loaded with islands, especially as you get into the Lesser Antilles over here. You have a lot of different islands that you could check out. Most of them are all different countries, like St. Lucia, Aruba down here by Venezuela. So we're going to be going to some of these islands here soon, especially as the world starts opening up. So my favorite place, if you're living in the United States, to at least get some island activity, get some island hopping in, I would say is the Caribbean. Even north of the Caribbean, they have Bermuda, okay? So first area, everyone knows about Caribbean. I see you guys, Tom and Todd. Todd says, I plan on hitting every single one of them at some point. Right, so I'm showing you kind of some general ideas so you can get out there and explore this. Now, the other area that I really recommend, that is probably my favorite area to explore with all things considered, including food, is the Mediterranean. You'll notice in the Mediterranean there's many different islands, and it's really hard to figure out which one you want to go to, because in Spain you have the Balearic Islands. This is Mallorca and Ibiza, and you also have Menorca. They have one over here called Formentera, which is probably got the coolest beach in all of the Balearic Islands. So you can see Islas Baleares, but we pronounce it Balearic, okay? The English speakers. Now, the Titherian Sea has a very beautiful island that belongs to Italy. This is Sardinia. You also have an island north of there, okay? And that one, I want to say it's not Capri. I think it's Corsica. Anyway, so you do have islands down by Naples, like Capri. Very beautiful islands in Italy. So Italy, Spain, gorgeous islands. By the way, Spain does have more islands along with Portugal out in the Atlantic, for those of you who do not know this. Now, you have the Canary Islands, okay? So you have Gran Canaria, which is the main one. This is belonging to Spain. And they're actually off the coast of Africa. For those of you who like finding out new island chains, check out the Canaries. You also have Funchal right here, which is belonging to Portugal. They're a part of the Madeira Islands. You can see there's about 3 right there, big ones. All right, so you have the Canaries, you have the Madeira Islands, and then you also have the Azores, way out in the Atlantic, okay? So keep that in mind. But moving back into the Mediterranean area, now we're going to go to my favorite area, which is in the Aegean Sea. So the Aegean Sea actually has, are there Greek islands in between Greece and Turkey. For some reason, it's not showing me a clear screen here. But in this area, you would have Santorini, Mykonos, you have Ios, you have Rhodes. So the Aegean Sea in the Mediterranean is amazing for islands. So just in general, take a look at the Mediterranean. That's not even including Malta, which is its own nation. And you have quite a few even beautiful islands up by Croatia that are very underrated, okay? So far we've talked about the Caribbean islands, we've talked about the Mediterranean, and now we're gonna move over into the South Pacific area where you could see they have a lot of islands, in particular in the Java Sea and the Sulu Sea. So south you have Indonesia. Indonesia has many, like the Banda Aceh and the Banda Arc right here, which is Irian Jaya, kind of like Papua New Guinea area. But you have many, many islands out here, and they're really untouched. But the most popular among these is Bali, okay? So you have Bali. Bali's got Densapar. That's mostly where everyone arrives at in that area right there. So this area, Indonesia, very beautiful. Probably some of the most raw, untouched scuba diving you can do anywhere in the world, for those of you who like to do scuba diving. But probably one of my favorite island nations just to explore if you ever get a chance, you're going to want to check out the Philippines. The Philippines has, I think, around 7,500 islands. So being in one nation, getting around, without having to do passport stuff and all that, Philippines is a great place to get a lot of exposure to many different islands. Probably the most popular among these is Palawan or Boracay. Those are the ones that you most commonly know about. But when you land here, you go to Manila. Although most people say that the best thing to do, or the first thing to do when you get to Manila, is leave Manila. In other words, get on a plane going to one of the other islands. Don't really hang out any longer than 24 to 48 hours in Manila. You could take that how you want to take it. Someone just mentioned Guam, and yes, I do see Guam in here. We can talk about the Pacific Islands, because in the Pacific Islands, you're going to have a lot of seismic activity. Hampson says, yes, let's crush up the likes. Thanks to the 11 people who already did that. You have the Northern Marianas Islands. You can see, if you look on Google Earth, many different volcanic ruptures in the ground. This is even where the Marianas Trench is, which is considered the deepest portal, deepest underwater trench, if you want to call it that, in the world. Here you have Guam. You also have the Federated States of Micronesia, and you have the U.S. Marshall Islands and the U.S. You have Northern Marianas Islands and Marshall Islands, and then you also have the French Polynesian chain. So in that French Polynesia, you're going to have Vanuatu, which is, I don't know if that's considered French Polynesia, but you have Fiji, and you also have American Samoa, Tuvalu, Tonga, which is where that big volcanic eruption happened. I mean, this whole area is basically seismic, okay? It's a very seismic area. These are smaller islands, but the Cook Islands are very popular for people who like to just really get out there far, far away. The Cook Islands are definitely going to get you that. But as you go over into French Polynesia more, that's when you start to come across like Bora Bora right here, or the islands around Tahiti. And you could see, if you look on the map right here, just how amazing it looks from the sky, but it looks even better when you're on the ground in Bora Bora. That's probably one of the more popular islands in the world, but that's mostly Tahiti. You can see French Polynesia right here. Papeete, that's the main place that most people originate their flight, and then they island hop over to Bora Bora, or they go to Moorea. So Moorea is one of the more popular French Polynesian islands. Now, as you get further away from there, you come across some other interesting islands, like the most isolated island in the world, Pitcairn. Most people don't even know what Pitcairn is. In fact, I've never been there, and I don't ever plan to go to Pitcairn, but they do have a civilization or a place where you can kind of dock out in the middle of nowhere. From Pitcairn, once you go west, or east, I should say, towards Chile, you come across Easter Islands. Okay, so you have the Easter Islands. This area here is really just some hidden islands out here. Okay, actually, Easter Island's way further out than that. It's in the nation of Chile, but this is where they have those statues, the Rapa Nui. So if you guys wanted Rapa Nui, the mysterious statues in the middle of the ocean, that's out there on Easter Island. Then, if you go north towards Ecuador, you have the Galapagos. This is considered where Charles Darwin got most of his theories. That you could see there's many islands in the Galapagos. In order to get to the Galapagos, you actually have to check in through Ecuador, probably at Quito or Guayaquil. I can't quite say it, but that's usually where they originate there, or at Manta, flights that go to Galapagos. But it's, again, part of Ecuador. Very rich island chain. Now, when it comes to Central America, believe it or not, there are many different islands that you don't typically know about that are attached to certain nations, and they're also on the Pacific side. Okay, so you have islands in Panama, for example, Isla del Rey. You have Coiba Island, but also on the north in the Caribbean, but it's part of Panama, San Blas Islands. People don't know about these islands attached to Central America, like San Blas. They also don't really know about the islands in Honduras or Nicaragua. Like over here, you have Roatan. Actually, up here is Roatan. So many islands attached to these Central American nations, which are really close to the United States. You can get to Nicaragua and go to some of those islands. You could go to Honduras and go to some of the islands. They do have these very unique islands out there. For example, San Andreas. You see it right there. It should belong to Nicaragua or Honduras, but it actually belongs to Colombia. If you wanted to go to Providencia or San Andreas, you would go to Colombia to get there. Not these nations here, but here's Colombia. So it's very interesting when you start to explore islands because there's so much to see and know. Now, when you go north, you're going to go up into islands like Iceland. This is one of the more popular tourist destinations. I actually still have to go there and make some films, but you have Reykjavik, and then you have basically the rest of Iceland. I mean, it's one big giant volcanic area. So Iceland, very popular. And you could see if you go to the other islands known as the British Isles, although never ever call Ireland a part of the British Isles, because Irish people will want to basically kick your butt. But the Faroe Islands are very interesting. But if you go down towards Scotland, you could see many islands around the United Kingdom, including one off the shore called Ireland, right? Ireland. But anyway, the Iceland, Faroe Islands to the British Isles, very interesting island chain right there, but it's much more cold, so most people don't typically tend to put that high on their list of places to explore. But if you come over to the United States, or towards North America, I should say, you have Nova Scotia, and you also have New Brunswick. So this whole area right here, Newfoundland, also very interesting island to explore if you ever get some time, but that's not top of my list, I'll tell you that right now. One that is up north that I would check out is Vancouver Island in British Columbia. So if you guys want to check out an island this summer and you're looking for an idea, do consider Vancouver Island. They have Victoria right here, which you should, well, I say you should. Soon they should open up the ferry that goes from Port Angeles to Victoria, where you just process right there and you're on Victoria, which is Vancouver Island. And it's kind of near the San Juan Islands. This area is popular because people go there to check out orcas. So this island right here, Victoria Island, one of the coolest islands you will find around North America. And then if you go all the way up here, you have the Inland Passage. The Inside Passage, I should say. When people think about Alaska, they kind of ignore the Inside Passage, but really most of the travel stuff that you see, the pictures and whatnot, they come from the Inland Passage, not necessarily mainland Alaska. So the big ticket out here is going to be Glacier Bay National Park. They also have Juneau. They have Ketchikan. So there's Juneau. It's the largest city in terms of area, but not by population. They also have Ketchikan. Okay, this is another really cool destination in Alaska. You can explore Alaska for like 2 months and never get bored. I mean, Alaska's huge. But if you do go up to the high part up here, Kodiak Island is where the best place to see grizzly bears are, along with Katmai. So these two areas are great places to go to see the grizzlies catching salmon in the water. Don't worry, Hampson, I'm going to get over to the Seychelles. I'm going to go over to the islands in Africa next. Thank you for reminding me of that. Crave says, how safe or dangerous are these islands as to their government or citizenry, the tourists? This matters. Yes, obviously Alaska or Victoria Island, part of North America, which is Canada and the United States, these are relatively safe. The ones that so far, the ones that I've shown you in the Caribbean, majority of them are safe. There is the issue, obviously, you have to take into consider COVID right now because that is part of the world dynamic. Those numbers are always changing, so you just have to do those numbers on your own. But when it comes to these islands up here, not a problem. As far as going to the islands in the Mediterranean or in the South China Sea here, Philippines, Indonesia, I would say the Philippines, both are, level, they're higher level, but I've been to both without incident. I would say Philippines is probably a little bit safer than the ones in Indonesia, but probably the safest of all. I mean, anything can happen anywhere, but the Gulf of Thailand, the islands in Thailand are considered some of the best. In particular, Phuket or Phi Phi Islands, also known as PP Islands. I just call it Phi Phi. You could call it PP if you need to. But anyway, there are a lot of islands on this side of Malacca, which is actually the Indian Sea or the Indian Ocean. But you could see they've got a lot of islands out here, even the Andaman and the Nicobar Islands. I still need to explore all these. The things with going to islands, when there's so many islands, it's like how to get to each one of them. I mean, you could see they're like little freckles out here in the ocean. They're just everywhere. And you just look on a map and you're like, wow. But a lot of people like to go to this one, Koh Samui or Koh Tao. Koh Tao is a popular Thailand island. If you're looking to go to Asia and you want some exposure to islands, seems like Thailand is usually the best one, then probably followed by Philippines. Obviously, if you want to talk about large island nations, we have Japan, which is probably the premier island destination in all the world in terms of culture and everything. I mean, between Japan and Iceland, Japan is way up there, okay? The other one that's really popular that people like to go to is New Zealand. Now, something to consider about New Zealand, it's way down there, but there's two islands. There's the North Island and then there's the South Island. Most people, when they go to New Zealand, they don't have time to do both, although I do recommend it if you end up making your way all the way down to that side of the world. You'll see there's some islands way out here that have always caught my attention, but it's really hard to get there. I mean, it takes time. But I've been to both islands. The area that's most popular on the South Island is Queenstown. And they also have a fjord down here called Milford Sound. It was closed when I was there. Unfortunately, I didn't get to go up into Milford Sound, but this is one of the most majestic like glacier areas you'll ever go to. So if you go down to South Island in New Zealand, check out Queenstown and Milford Sound. I went as far south as this town called Dunedin, right here. I actually took a bus for 4 hours from Queenstown to Dunedin, and I found Dunedin to be very chilly. It was cold. And then I looked down on the map and I'm like, yeah, because it's kind of close to Antarctica. It's actually further south it's about as far south as Tasmania. Speaking of islands near there and Tasmania, I did go to Hobart, but Tasmania is an island that would probably take 2 to 3 weeks just to really get a feel for it, just to crack it open. I mean, it's a lot to see on an island like Tasmania, but I did go to Hobart. I look forward to exploring more of Tasmania, actually. Now, someone was mentioning the islands out in Africa are off the coast of Africa in the Indian Ocean, because the Indian Ocean has some of the most beautiful islands. Obviously, Maldives always pops up on your Instagram or your Facebook. I don't really need to tell you too much about how beautiful the Maldives is, But if you're going to go to the Maldives, you might as well consider going to Sri Lanka also. So I would do both Maldives and Sri Lanka. And if you got some time, throw in the Seychelles right here. So La Digue is one of the more popular ones, actually, for people who are looking to do some like luxury resort stuff. But yeah, there's also Mauritius down here. You'll see many islands out in that Indian Ocean area when you go to the Maldives. But here's Mauritius and Reunion, both French. French have these two. And if you go right over here, you have this beautiful island of Madagascar. Lots of unique botany and unique plants come from Madagascar, as well as some unique animals. So this area is really a cool place to explore. If you get a chance to go to Madagascar, you might consider Reunion or Mauritius, Seychelles, Maldives. Now you can see why I call this one Island Hopper TV, because if I was to go over there, I'm going to be like, well, I came all this way. I might as well see Madagascar. I might as well see Seychelles, Mauritius, Reunion, and Maldives, Sri Lanka. And probably on the way out, I would stop over in one of my favorite island countries, Singapore. Singapore is like the best island city, nation, if you want to call it that, in the world for sure. If Hong Kong was its own nation, or if it still remained autonomous, you could say Hong Kong is also a very amazing place, being an island as well. You could see right here is Victoria Harbor, Kowloon Bay, Victoria Harbor. This island right here is the island of Hong Kong. But Hong Kong is considered Kowloon as well, which is attached to mainland China. So between the two big cities, states, nations, Hong Kong, Singapore, I'm going probably with Singapore, but Hong Kong used to be the best. It used to be the pearl to the Orient, as they called it, the pearl of the Orient. But Hong Kong, if you get in there, it's a great gateway to get into mainland China, because you can go to Shenzhen and you can go up into the Guangdong Valley, which is the Pearl River Valley. You have Guangzhou, you have Foshan, Dongguan, and you have Macau over here, which is East Las Vegas. So lots to see and do around the Hong Kong area. Whereas with Singapore, you have some islands over here like Batam and Bintan. These are islands, of course, but most people, they just go to Johor and they go into Malaysia. They don't really like going into those islands in Indonesia. Thanks to 18 people who crushed up the likes. Someone said, the Tasmanian Devil. Yeah, the Tasmanian Devil obviously is world famous because of the name and the feistiness of it, right? While we're over here in the archipelago of the Java archipelago, they do have some unique wildlife out here, especially on Java, or Sumatra, I mean. In Sumatra, I believe this is one of the only places on Earth that have orangutans, the big monkeys, the really strong ones. They're on Sumatra. So Sumatra, one of the most densely unique rainforests too. And then if you go over to Java, this is where the big city is, Jakarta. Okay, Jakarta is typically the gateway into Indonesia, but you can fly directly into Bali, say Singapore to Bali, without even having to go into Jakarta. Jakarta is like Manila. It's like they say the first thing you do when you get to Jakarta is you get on a plane and go somewhere else. Anyway, you guys all remember Christmas Island. This is where those unique crabs are. This belongs to Australia. So Australia has a lot of unique islands that are untapped. One day, I would love to get in a bus, one of those, vans, and cruise around all of Australia. I really would. By the way, you guys were asking me about some of the gear that I have. I did post a link here at the top of the chat about the travel store. This is the travel store right here. I've got a lot of the travel gear that I use when I'm traveling. Everything from the backpack to the camera bag to the laptop. You guys can just rummage through this link in the description. But this is stuff that I usually bring with me. I need to update some of the list. But yeah, this is a good start if you're looking for travel gear, because me as a traveler, I'm always looking for travel gear. I also do recommend, if you do some traveling, that you consider credit cards. These are 6 excellent travel credit cards of 2022. I've actually got most of these. I've got Chase Sapphire. I've also got links to these in the description as well. But I've got Chase Sapphire. I've got the Platinum card from American Express. And I can tell you, as someone who used to run away far, far, far away from credit cards just because of this, it's pay as you go. So if you do get this, you just pay it off. Instead of using your debit cards, you just collect rewards and then you pay it off every 2 weeks or something. But I like them all for various different reasons. The one that I wouldn't recommend is this Bank of America one, but the American Express Platinum card is great because it gives you access to lounges like Priority Pass, also the American Express Lounge. It does have a $695 fee, but if you do travel, it really pays for itself, and I'm not just saying that. Chase Sapphire, I would say I haven't really seen too many benefits with Chase Sapphire other than the fact it's $95. I do use it. The reason I like it in my wallet is because some places internationally don't take American Express because American Express charges the vendor a fee. Whereas if they say, but we don't take American Express, but we take Visa, that's when I whip out the Chase Sapphire with the Visa. So I would say having both. But if you don't want to do this Chase Sapphire, which is considered the best one, you could go with Capital One Venture. I have that one, although I did not use it on my last go around. My most commonly used card that I use is the American Express Blue Card. And that one has no annual fee. So you could get signed up for the American Express annual card without any real hassle or fees. That's a good introduction. And they give you 2x. So those are things that I wanted to point out because those are, that I would say this is a big part of my travel. Now, some other things I wanted to talk about was where can I travel, right? So like, how do you know where to travel? Well, I personally use Kayak, although it's not exactly perfect. It's the closest that I've seen to be perfect. So if I'm traveling from the United States, you could toggle here and change it up if you're coming from the UK or if you're coming from the United States. But since I'm in the United States, I'm just going to use my point of reference here. So basically, green means open, orange means open with restrictions, and then red is closed. So you could see 4 countries are open without any restrictions. That's why you'll notice I went to those countries, didn't I, on my last tour because they didn't have any real hassle. That's Dominican Republic, Costa Rica, El Salvador, and Mexico. I would say that if you're looking for places to knock off the bucket list of places to go, Dominican Republic, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Mexico. Now, do pay attention to the CDC stuff. The whole time I was traveling, the CDC was putting out all sorts of crazy warnings, blah, blah, blah. All you got to do is take care of yourself and make sure you're safe, wear your mask, blah, 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 do everything, follow the rules. And this is not health advice. You guys get the point. I mean, you have to travel at your own risk. But, I mean, I did it. And, you know, obviously it would suck to get COVID over there. I wouldn't want to get sick with it, but I went for 2 months. I went to all those places. I went to Costa Rica, Dominican Republic. I went to Puerto Rico, U.S. Virgin Islands, Mexico, Colombia even. Colombia used to be a green. Now it's turned to red or orange. Now, if those aren't the countries that you want to go to because whatever reason, Europe, you can get in there, but you got to have your vaxxie, your vaxxies. Someone said, let's see, someone's talking about cryptocurrency in here. And yeah, I mean, I know you guys like to talk about cryptocurrency, but YouTube's automatically holding those comments for reviews because of something that's being said. So I don't know what's going on. Shamai said, what about islands by Canada? Yeah, there's tons of islands in Canada. I mean, but, you know, getting into Canada right now, you have to have your vax. If you're one of those people who's unvaxxed, I mean, there's only 4 places that you could go. Dominican Republic, Costa Rica, Mexico without the shots. So they've basically eliminated a lot of travel opportunities for people. Or you could just travel in the United States. Hey, the United States has some islands. What are some islands that you could travel to in the United States if that's your thing? How many of you guys are outside of the United States? Or how many are in the United States, I should say? Frankie says, how did you like San Miguel de Allende? I like it. I like San Miguel de Allende. It's, I don't know if it's as safe as they make it out to be, though, because I did notice there was like a lot of those police cruisers with, I'm not going to sit here and say it's dangerous, okay? There was a lot of expatriates in particular from Canada. The area that I probably like the best in Mexico, if we were to just dial it in, I mean, I love Mexico. Mexico's awesome. Like there's islands in the Gulf of California, the Sea of Cortez. I could make a whole video just literally dedicated to the Gulf of California and the islands around here, which kind of in a way remind me of the Greek islands in the Aegean. But I would say I would go with Zihuatanejo. I would go with Zihuatanejo right here. If I was to say that's probably one of my favorite places that I went. I do like this Puerto Escondido area, but obviously everyone loves Tulum and Playa del Carmen. I mean, that's an island. They also have Holbox. They have Isla Mujeres right here. I mean, it's about as close to Cuba as you can get from Isla Mujeres, right? There's Cuba right there. But in terms of American islands, you know, you're going to have Key West or the Keys, the Florida Keys. These are really popular with people. Thanks to everyone who hit the like button. I see 23 of you. So someone says Mexico is the best currently. Yeah, I mean, out of the countries available for travel, Mexico is going to be number one because of the fact that it's got all the it's so huge, right? You could, you know, really get around. I liked El Salvador. I thought El Salvador was underrated. I also found Guatemala to be underrated. But Mexico, you could get so much diversity in one country, right? But yeah, so in the United States, you have Key West, okay? You also have some islands in Massachusetts. We already know about those. You have Nantucket, Martha's Vineyard, this whole area right here, okay? You have Long Island. I'm not a big fan of those islands, but to each their own if that's your thing. Oh, geez, man. You know, like it's like boring talking about the United States, but some people like only want to go to the United States. But they do have some islands down in like Tybee Island or Hilton Head Island in South Carolina. And then they also have some islands actually on the Florida Panhandle, which are worth checking out, like St. George Island or Cape San Blas. Those are really cool islands right here. And even like where Panama City Beach is or Pensacola. So they do have a few islands out there. And then over towards Alabama, they have Dauphin Island. Dauphin, what a unique place. Down here by Bayou La Batre. That was one word that when I heard someone was saying, like, I was like, hey, where's Forrest Gump from? And they go, oh, and you know how they have that interesting accent down in the South? They're like, Bayou La Batre. Or they're like, Bayou La Batre. Like saying that to myself, I couldn't get over it. But that's Bayou La Batre right here. Right there. For all those of you who are ready to go, get in a tour of Alabama down by Bayou La Batre. But they do have some islands down here like the Dauphin Island. I mean, it's a nice getaway place, but the water's not going to be like you're going to get in Key West or anything. But you could check it out. I mean, the summer it's a place to chill. And then you got Pascagoula. You could pass on Pascagoula. You could pass on Biloxi unless you like to gamble. I mean, that's basically what they do down there. But hey, when you're on that southern swing, if I was to do a southern swing or recommend one, definitely do New Orleans down to Tampa. You could get some good action. Okay? And in between that, New Orleans, this is just a road trip. New Orleans, swing through Biloxi if you wanted. Check out Mobile, Pensacola, Destin. Destin's awesome. That's a cool place. Panama City Beach, and then cruise right through, back up to Tallahassee, and then down through Gainesville, Ocala, Orlando, and then Tampa. If you want. That's up to you. Someone says, have you traveled to Bahamas? I have actually not been to the Bahamas yet. I mean, the only islands that I've really been to in the Caribbean, I've been to most of the islands off of Mexico, but Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, U.S. Virgin Islands. There's a few others that I am missing right now. Let's see here. They're so small, sometimes you go to them and you don't even realize you're on them. But like I said, lots of islands off the coast of Mexico here, like Cozumel, Isla Mujeres. Those are considered Caribbean islands. I'd have to double check. I went to the Caribbean side here in Costa Rica, but you know, like when you're in the Caribbean, there's so many islands. It's hard to get to them because you can't go from like U.S. Virgin Islands to Anguilla, even though they're close. Look, U.S. Virgin Islands going from St. Croix to Anguilla, you're like, let me go. Come on. Where's the island hopper plane? But because of COVID, it's like everything's restricted. You know, to go to Anguilla, I'd have to go from U.S. Virgin Islands back to Miami, back to Anguilla. You know, it's like, what the heck is up with that? Well, welcome to the new world that they're creating for us. Complications. Nick says, I went to a resort in Playa del Carmen, Mexico. Freaking lit. Yeah, it is. I mean, Playa del Carmen is probably one of my favorite party towns in the North America, because my favorite party town in the world is not in North America. If you guys want to know, you have to ask me, and I might tell you. No, I will tell you, but you have to ask me if you want to know. But Playa del Carmen right here is cool because you could do so much around Playa del Carmen. Like you could spend 2 weeks in Playa del Carmen and have the time of your life. And because you would go to Cozumel, you would chill out at Cozumel. You would go to like the cenotes. You'd go to Chichen Itza. You'd check out some of the Mayan ruins. You go down to Tulum. By the way, when you go down to Tulum, don't go to Tulum City. Go to Tulum Beach. That's where it's at, man. All these people going to Tulum, they think, oh, I just went to Tulum. Because they go here. And they're like, I didn't like Tulum. And I'm like, but did you go to the Tulum Hotel Zone? Esmeralda Cay? That's where you need to be, right there. That's the spot. This whole little stretch of beach is like Bali, but better, you know? Anyway. But even down here, you can go to like Sian Can. How do we say it? Sian Can or something like that. It's this biosphere area, but they have that. Sian Kaan. That's it right here. It's this like really unique biosphere. But look at it. It's like these mangroves. You know? Cool water, right? But you could do that from Tulum real easy, or Playa del Carmen. You just, get on a tour bus. But then you come down here and you go to like Chetmal or Bacalar. Bacalar is one of the more popular places. Jeff Dennett says, Dominican Republic is a great place to visit. Citizens are wonderful. Yeah, Dominican Republic is beautiful. I mean, one of my favorite islands I've ever been to, not just the island of Hispaniola, but there's an island right here called Isla Sawana. That is just a fantastic place to go. Let's see if I can show you some footage of Isla Sawana when I went there. This is U.S. Virgin Islands. This water here is all U.S. Virgin Islands, but this is Isla Sawana. Okay? You could see right here. Frankie did ask, what's my favorite party city? Great question. All right, I'm going to answer that right now. But yeah, Isla Sawana. Oh, let's see if I can show you some more. This is like the pool around Isla Sawana. Lots of palm trees. Anyways, back to the cool stuff, right? Favorite party city in the world. Like if I just want to bring my best friends, like 10 of you guys, and we're going to go party, like men's trip, we're probably going to Phuket. Phuket, man. And I'm talking about Patong. You can basically have a really good time in Patong. Let's see if I can find Patong exactly. I took a whole moped around all of Patong, and I was just like, man, I was getting hit up by all types of people. Like, you want to go see the Monkey Village? You want to go to the Big Buddha? The Big Buddha up here. They had island hopping to like these islands right here, like PP Island. You can go over there for 2 days. You go over here to Patong though. That's kind of where it's at. Let's see if I can remember exactly the location of Patong. Oh man. So they got Freedom Beach. They got the Elephant Jungle Sanctuary, but yeah, it's called Patong. I just have to find it on the map. I feel like it's got to be around here somewhere. Anyway, that's my favorite party city is the island of Phuket, but the town of Patong. But the island of Phuket is basically where you need to be going. Phuket. And you know that people go there. I will tell you that if Phuket's pretty awesome, I'm pretty sure Koh Samui or Koh Tao are also pretty cool. They're smaller islands, but I haven't been there yet. So I only went to Phuket, and I could say that's like the spot to go. Someone said, let's go. Mr. Porter said Bangla Road. Yeah, Bangla Road. Like, you could party hard, man. There's like kickboxing going on. There's dancing. There's partying, there's nightclubs, there's loud music, it's everywhere. Like, I remember when I went to Bangla Road, because that's the spot he's talking about. That's basically Patong. When I went there, I remember like saying to myself, dude, I think I found the craziest party spot on planet Earth. There was a place I went to in Saigon. You guys know when you're going to like the Vietnamese restaurants, or you go to like some town and it'll say like Little Saigon? Well, I went to Ho Chi Minh City, right? And as I was in Ho Chi Minh City, this is not an island, by the way, but they had these places. They had this one road. I wish I could remember it. I'm not very good at speaking Vietnamese. I'm still trying to figure it out. But there was like this one area uh, that was just the craziest street. Does anyone in the audience know the name of the road in Saigon, or more directly Ho Chi Minh City, but I call it Saigon? This place was crazy. It was on the level of Bangla Road, and I was amazed. I actually have a walking tour from that place. I didn't really hang out there too much because I got pickpocketed. Only time I ever been pickpocketed. I had my phone out and I was like, man, this place is crazy. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning, and we had just been drinking lots of beer, and I was hanging out with these people that I just met, and someone came up and like shoulder checked me, and I was like, oh man. I didn't even think for a second, but what he was doing when he shoulder checked me, reaching his hand in my pocket and pulling my phone out. He watched me put my phone in my pocket and he pulled it out. And what he did to distract me, because he knew I was already drinking beer, he just kind of shoulder checked me. I was just like, man, you okay there, buddy? And I started walking out, and I was like this. I touched my pockets, and I'm like, where's my phone? It happens though. Byron says, I've noticed on other channels that the Sargassum has been bad in the Yucatan over the past few years. Yeah, if you're talking about Mexico, yeah, I mean, Mexico's up there. I mean, party spots between Thailand, Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh City, Saigon, Phuket, and then the area in Mexico where the Sargassum is that he's talking about. I mean, this area of Playa del Carmen. Like, if you like to party, go to Playa del Carmen. I mean, the party cities of the world, Playa del Carmen, Phuket, Saigon. I could give you some more. I think that's what you guys would want, right? You guys want more? I could tell you more. Andre's like, best party spot. But yeah, those are three that I would definitely add to the list right there if you like to party. Key West in the United States, probably one of the best party cities in the United States is Key West, for sure. And in Key West, you go to this road called Duval Street. I actually did a video on just walking down Duval. It's right here. This whole strip right here in Duval Street. It goes from like one side of the island to the other. That's the spot to go when you go to Key West. But that's one of the biggest parties in the United States is Key West. For real. So I would even put Key West on a global stage. Now, if I was going over to like Europe and I was looking at some of the other party spots, it's funny, we went from islands to party. But we're already like 42 minutes into it, so it's all good. I like Ibiza. Ibiza's a lot of party, man. There's a lot of partying that takes place in Ibiza. That's in the Balearic Islands off the coast of Spain. What I did was I took a ferry from Barcelona. So I checked out Barcelona, and then I took the ferry over to Mallorca. I went to Palma. A lot of British uni students go over here to Palma, Mallorca, and they party in this place right here called, Magaluf. Magaluf is where you can find a lot of British uni students, like European uni students go to Magaluf. Spain's littered with party spots, though. In terms of like just partying and like getting around like real cool, chill people, one of my favorite places to go that I would say it's not on everyone's list, but it probably should be, is Prague, right here. They call it Prague in the United States, but when you get there, they call it Praha or Praha or something like that. But Prague is awesome, man. I've been to Prague and I want to go back there. So Prague is one of the cool party spots. And then as far as other parties go where I actually had a great time besides Ibiza, I did have a good time in the Greek islands like Ios. They have Mykonos, they have Santorini, but I recommend this one called Ios. You just spell it I-O-S, like your phone, iOS, that's the island. I remember when I was going there, I was like, dude, this has got to be the most underrated place I've ever been. I didn't even know about Eos until I got there, and it's a party. It's poppin' party, okay? Eos gets going. Another place that I went to party, and it's got this real cool vibe. I don't know why Google Maps is like blurring out some places, but Dublin, Ireland. It's true. Like they got the Jameson, they got the Guinness. I mean, you just go there. It's almost like you go into a pub and it feels like a church. Like someone will be singing like, "Oh Holy Night," or they'll be singing like, one of those like kind of like church hymns. But it's like the old Irish folklore music, and everyone's in there like basically like holding on to each other with the mug in their hand, and they're spilling the beer all over the place. That you can get in Dublin for sure. Dublin is a party spot for real. I didn't really like Amsterdam. So I'm not going to put Amsterdam on that list of party places. I should probably make a whole video about this and really give it more thought. But other places where I partied pretty good, let's see here. Yeah, I would say the Greek islands, the Spanish islands. So the islands of the Mediterranean get going hard, man. They get going good. Back to Asia, in terms of partying in Asia, any of these islands, like in the Philippines, you can go to. I personally went to this one called Bohol right here. And there was an island right here where I had a good time partying in Panglao. So Panglao's got this beach right here, Alona Beach. It's like this community right here. And I was just kicking it down there, just chilling out and meeting people left and right. I mean, all you had to do was pull up to a bar and you were going to be talking to someone. In the daytime, you go over here to these islands. You just island hop over to like Bali Kasag. I have a video on the channel about Bali Kasag. It's actually a cool video. It's one of my favorite videos I ever did, but it didn't get a lot of views. It's funny because some of my coolest videos that I'll make that I personally had the coolest experience, I don't know how to like put the right keywords in there for people to actually be interested in it, but like straight up, I mean, I would say it's one of my favorite places. But Panglao was hard to get to. I had to actually land in Cebu City. I took a ferry all the way down here to Tagbilaran or whatever it's called. And then I ended up over here in Panglao. But it was like Bohol. But I think you can actually fly directly into Panglao now. So that's pretty good. But the Philippines had some good spots. Another one that's really cool in the Philippines to party at is going to be called Boracay. Let's see here. Where's Boracay? There's going to be a lot of tourists there partying. So, you get like, it's like tourist party spot, right? It's like Cancun, right? But Boracay right here on this beach, they have Station 2, Station 3, Station 1. This whole area right here is just fun. Just an area of fun in the sun. In the daytime, you're going out here on the water. In the nighttime, you're out there eating good food and partying. So Philippines really got it going on. Titus says, are you back at home or still on the road? Right now, I'm back home. I'm just taking care of some stuff, and then I plan to get back out onto the road. My hope is to be going across the United States or going into Europe, back towards the Mediterranean. That's the place. I can't really get into Asia, but I'd love to get back over to Asia, but right now they're still locked out. In terms of partying, I didn't really like the party scene in Japan, to be completely honest with you. I do like Japan because I like karaoke and I like that vibe. It's just every time I go there, it's kind of cold, I guess. And plus, Tokyo is a hard place to go if you're a solo traveler. I don't recommend Tokyo for a solo traveler. Go with friends. And I sometimes travel with a friend or I travel solo. I don't really care for Tokyo as a solo person. I felt out of place for sure. And I don't feel like that in a lot of places in Asia, especially when you go to South Asia, like Hong Kong. You can easily meet people. You can easily meet people in Philippines, easily meet people in Thailand. I found Vietnam to be a difficult place to meet people. And then in China, friendly people, but because of the language barrier, I was having a hard time connecting, kind of like what I had in Japan. Like I said, I like Japan. I think it's cool, but it's just language barrier makes it tough. Singapore, you can meet a lot of people in Singapore. Singapore is a great place to network and meet new people. Because in Singapore, it's like a bunch of people from all over Asia. You got India, you got Chinese, you have Thai, you have Indonesian people, and they all kind of hang out in Singapore. So good stuff to know there, right? How can you afford to go to all these places? Because I became a digital nomad. I was basically doing this thing called so someone had told me you got to find 5 ways to get revenue coming into your bank account. So I was like, how do I get 5 revenue streams coming into my bank account? So I was like, started investing in cryptocurrency early, and I was just paying attention to trends. I set up a YouTube channel, which wasn't making a lot of money. It didn't make enough money to pay for it at all. I got a contract filming for other people for a travel company. But then the YouTube did pick up. It did pick up over time. So between the cryptocurrency, the YouTube, and then the e-commerce and the digital nomad work that I was doing, that's how it all became possible. So it was like having multiple streams of income coming into your bank account is the way you do it. You can't just be dependent on one form of income. If you're just a one-trick pony, if that thing dries up, you're like, oh, what am I going to do? And you could tell people this all day long. You could stress it. You could tell them, hey, You might be working with me, but you got to have four other sources of income on the side. They call them side hustles, like ways for you to have money coming in. Or you could have, like, for me, I was a veteran, so I have VA compensation coming into my account as well. So it's like finding ways to get money to come into your account, like residual incomes, maybe you're in multi-level marketing. That's the way you do it. So between cryptocurrency, stock investing, whatever it is that you do, your main job, and then your side hustles. You guys got it? Someone says, BS, you got paid to promote coins. What is this guy's deal? He's just in here like just cryptocurrency stuff like left and right. I mean, why is this guy even talking like that? He's literally, you've literally stirred it up with everybody in the chat, and you're just angry at life. So this is basically what we have going on in Vietnam. Yeah, like I said, the way that I made my money was investing in cryptocurrency. I mean, there was times when I was putting thousands of dollars into cryptocurrency, and it just kept going up. And this was back, I bought my first Bitcoin when it was $600. And I'll tell you, when I bought my first Bitcoin for $600, I was like, well, I just threw that money away. And I was like, what's the best it could do? Like, I was trying to figure out like the best that it could do. I would hear like Max, what's his name? Max Kaiser. He said, oh, Bitcoin is going to $1 million. And I'd be like, oh, that'd be great, but I don't think so. So that helped me make my decision. But I was like, maybe it'll go to like $2,000. But obviously Bitcoin went to 3,500. Then it went to, higher. And it just basically took off. And then Ethereum, you could get into Ethereum for $7 back in 2017. Or in 2016, 2017. Went up to like, right now it's at 2,500. It's been as high as almost $4,000. So, how many do you think you have to buy at $7? So let's see, if you buy 100 Ethereum at $7, it's not going to cost you a lot of money. And then those 100 Ethereum about this time were probably worth around $400,000 to $500,000. So that's basically the way you guys do it. Is you pay attention to technology, and you try to position yourself into areas where you can actually make gains. Try to get in early. But for every one that I won, I lost a lot too. Like I invested in a lot of coins that didn't do too good. So you just gotta basically take risks, so to speak. I think that's what a lot of it is. Even with travel, like when you're traveling, especially when you're traveling solo, going to the Philippines, going to Vietnam, or going to China by yourself, or going to Mexico even by yourself, it's a risk. So, I mean, I was watching this one show, he said, all good things in life come from a risk. Taking risk is how beautiful things happen. So you can't be scared, you can't be risk averse. You have to be willing to take risks. And trust me, I've got fears, okay? There's things that I'm scared of. Like, I'm always questioning things that I'm doing, and I have fears. But whenever you get an opportunity to like crush a fear or do something to like power through it, that's powerful right there. Metal Gear says $600. Yeah, Bitcoin. I mean, Bitcoin. When I was first introduced to Bitcoin, it was $200, $200 to $300. But when I first bought it, it was around $600. Jeff says, "Just say it. You work your butt off, tail off." Yeah. Well, hard work. I work. I'm always working, but people ask, basically, to answer that question more directly, this is the best way I would say it. Everything I enjoyed, I've figured out a way to make money with it. Okay, here, let me give you an example. Okay, I like travel, so I was like, well, I like travel. How can I turn this into a business? I like drilling data. I like studying statistics and data. So it's like, how do I make money with it? Like, people are doing that with games now. They like games, so they're figuring out a way to make money with games. What else do I like? I like the state of Arizona. I also have a clothing brand that I'm starting. So, because I like to wear a variety of different clothing and I like to get into that, I'm starting a clothing company. And some of the stuff, it might not work. Actually, most of the stuff that I do that makes money is all online. It's weird because the stuff that is in the physical world, like, clothing company or whatever it is, don't seem to have the exact payoff or the same reward Like if I was to start a landscaping company and go dig ditches and plant trees, I'm not going to make as much money as I could make on the internet. So, yes, work it online. But the downside to working on the internet is it's like a screen that's your best friend, and you're like in this portal in the World Wide Web, and you're just like dialing in the World Wide Web, and it's like your eyes get stressed out, your head gets stressed out. You're like, what am I doing in this World Wide Web? In the internet, It's funny. Yeah, so there's a lot to consider with all that stuff when you're getting into how you do it. I mean, but at the end of the day, I always think that anyone can do it. But I think Jeff is right. When he says work hard, what I would say, focus. You got to focus on something and don't give up on it. You just got to keep pushing away at it. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't be scared to like keep building. And even when it slows down, find something else to build. So it's kind of like growing an orchard. It's like, when one of your when your trees just kind of set it and forget it, and it's not really growing because it's not the time of the year for that tree to grow, go plant another tree to go care for. So then, now you have 2 trees or 3 trees. You get it? So it's like having multiple different things, which create that revenue stream for multiple different places. I mean, I could really teach a class on this whole thing because I literally did it. And it's not that I'm trying to say that I came up with the idea. No, it's not my idea. It's just that I was following principles. I read the book by Ray Dalio, Principles. I mean, reading books really opens your attention. The first book that really opened my eyes to this stuff was, believe it or not, it was Think and Grow Rich. Okay. I think it was by Napoleon Hill or Dale Carnegie, Andrew Carnegie or something like that. That was the author. Think and Grow Rich was a great book. I also read the book How to Win Friends and Influence People. But then there was another book that was more modern, kind of tying everything together, the 4-hour work week. And I listened to him on audio. This was like before I even got to the point where I was established. I was listening to a lot of these books. Am I still holding crypto? Absolutely. Are you kidding me? Why? That's absolutely. There's no doubt about that. Someone said, Titus said, for someone who is visually impaired, do you recommend traveling solo? I don't know I would say I actually, believe it or not, I have some things like that I deal with, like visual impairment also. I just don't know the extent of your visual impairment. But if you have glasses, that's good. There's always a workaround. Sometimes it's like, I think everyone who travels solo has a reason why they can't do it. In fact, when I don't travel for a year or so and I get back into it, I'm always nervous going back out there. I'm always kind of like, do I still have it in me to go to like 10 different countries on this leg solo by myself? Do I have it in me? And I'm always kind of like scared a little bit. But then once I get into the routine of travel, go, I'm all my fears are kind of like tucked away and I'm just doing it. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like being in the football game. Standing on the sidelines, you're nervous. Am I going to get the call to go in? But once you're in the game, it's like the switch flips. It's kind of how I look at travel. It's funny, everybody in here is into cryptocurrency. You guys must have come over from my other blockchain bowls or something. Someone says, hey, what about Pulse Chain? Is it legit? I have no idea. I don't really know Pulse Chain. I don't deal with the Richard Hart stuff. Nothing against him. I just don't have the time for Richard Hart. I don't. He's too. I can't tell if he's the greatest guy ever or if he's a total, like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. Roy says 4-hour work week, Tim Ferriss. That's what it is. Yeah. But I would say start with Think and Grow Rich by Dale Carnegie. Yeah, that's the one that I would start with. Then after you read that, go into the 4-hour work week, and then but in the 4-hour work, in the Think and Grow Rich book, they're going to tell you to do an exercise where he basically says to you, it's kind of like a prayer or a meditation or a what do they call these? It's like a meditation, I guess you could call it. A mantra. He tells you to basically think about what it is that you want out of life. Think about what you want out of life, right? And what you're willing to give in exchange for that. And he basically says to write it down on a piece of paper, what it is that you want, like your 5-year plan kind of thing, and you got to write it all out. You got to think about it, and then you got to tuck it away in your wallet. And every day for like a month, you read it. You read it for a month, every day, and you make sure you try to do it. And basically, I think you read it out loud. You just kind of copy his way, and I don't know how much impact that had on me. I mean, work is a big thing, but I think it all kind of comes together as like, yeah, there was a little bit of that, like reading the book and doing the exercise and, paying attention and focusing. Focus is big. Real estate is a great income stream. Yeah, I mean, you can get into real estate. Real estate's a great income stream until the housing market collapses, and then, you don't have any renters or something like that, which hopefully never happens, but everything's high risk, high reward. That's like saying investing in cryptocurrency and Bitcoin is a great thing until it goes down. Everything comes with a risk. Again, no great things. You can't be risk averse. If you're scared to take risks, and again, there's some things I personally cannot do. Like, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but I have a little thing with heights. I'm not a big fan of heights. So that's something that I have to figure out a way to work around. I do fine on airplanes, thankfully. But when it comes to like going over like drawbridges in the middle of these canyons and stuff, you won't catch me out there. Anyway, Titus said, Think and Grow Rich is by Napoleon Hill. Yeah. And then How to Win Friends and Influence People is by Dale Carnegie. Sean, just coming in. What islands did you mention so far? Looking for a birthday idea. Thank you to the 38 people who hit the likes, by the way. If you haven't already hit the likes, please do hit the likes. Someone said, what islands did you mention so far? Okay, so I talked about the Caribbean islands. The islands in the Caribbean that I really like, U.S. Virgin Islands, the islands off the coast of Mexico, all easy to get to, no problem. Puerto Rico's decent too. Dominican Republic, easy to get to right now. But if you can get out to places like St. Lucia, Turks and Caicos, or the Bahamas, especially some of the outlying Bahamas islands, the Greek islands, the Mediterranean area, the Spanish islands in the Med, all that. We also talked about the Azores, and we talked about some of the islands off the coast, like Tenerife and stuff like that. Then we talked about the South Pacific, South China Sea. We talked about Philippines having 7,500 different islands. And then the islands in the South Pacific like Tahiti, French Polynesia. And then who could forget the Hawaiian Islands, right? You can't forget about the Hawaiian Islands. There's so many beautiful ones. Gio says, what's your prediction out here in Arizona on the houses market? It's hard to tell. I mean, today the Fed, Jerome Powell, made a big decision about not electing to raise interest rates just yet. I think he said he's going to revisit the idea in March. But when they raise the interest rates, it's going to make it harder or less appetizing to take out loans, which is going to slow down the inflation rate. So these are all things you have to take into consideration about the housing market. But basically what the Federal Reserve is trying to do is slow something down on the fly. It's like trying to change the motor out of a 747 mid-flight with a fully loaded crew. I mean, that's basically what they're trying to do when they're trying to manage the economy. It's like adjusting levers left and right. I mean, it's probably not that dramatic, but really that's kind of what you have going on with economics, right? Quantitative easing and stuff like that. Someone said, can we get back to islands? Thank you, Justin. Yeah, all these people talking about other things. It's not really what I want to be talking about. But yeah, I would say, by the way, I talk about all that stuff, but I do enjoy talking about islands, and I could talk about islands all day because there are so many of them. But even if we go over here, I always am looking at the islands in the Red Sea or even in the Gulf of Oman, Persian Gulf. Look at this one's Socotra. This is crazy diving and fishing out here in Socotra right here. They have like very unique trees as well. This right here, look at that tree with that. It's kind of like the Galapagos out there. And even as you go off the coast of Oman or Muscat, this area right here, they have islands all the way up into the Persian Gulf. Abu Musa, they have Bahrain. They have these islands off the coast of Abu Dhabi. Like, look at all these islands, and it's crazy how many islands are out there. I haven't been to most of them. The only islands I've been to out there are not the Palm Jebel Ali. I went to the Palm Jumeirah. This is supposedly an island. You could call it an island. So that's Palm Jumeirah. But the islands in the Persian Gulf are definitely something they're hard to get to because of the situation out there. But then if you look at Eritrea or Somalia, Djibouti, and stuff like that, they have all these islands near the Gulf of Aden in the Red Sea. I mean, you just wonder, what is it like on these islands out here? Really, it's hot, but cool, right? I mean, it's got some potential in the Red Sea. Some other areas that I've considered really checking out that I haven't fully checked out, even though it's like right in my backyard, these islands in the Sea of Cortez in the Gulf of California. Thank you to the 45 people who hit the likes. Someone said, "What's up from New York? Do you own real estate in any other country?" said E. Roy. No, I do not. So yeah, when you're talking about islands out here, they have so many in this Sea of Cortez. I mean, I could count at least 20 right here. Even if you go over here to Isla Guadalupe, something that's interesting about this island, this is where the highest concentration of great white sharks is in the world. It's actually just off the coast of Baja, California. So you'll notice the Discovery Channel goes out to Isla Guadalupe, Guadalupe Island in English. Another area that's really cool for animals and wildlife is like the Biosfera El Vizcaíno, because they get gray whales. This is like a birthing area. And one of the cool things about Vizcaíno, the Bahia Vizcaíno out here in Baja, they say that the whales that come in here to give birth, you're not watching the whales, they're watching you. That's what they say. So they say when you're going to these lagoons where the birthing is taking place with the gray whales, the whales will come right up to the boat and they'll basically look at you and they'll just sit there and they'll just like make friends with you, and they're just chilling out in these lagoons. There's one in the Vizcaíno, then there's this one by Isla Magdalena, or Magdalena, let's see, where is that? It's down here actually. Puerto Magdalena. This one right here is a big spot to go see whales. So Puerto Magdalena, Magdalena Bay, I think is what it's called. But you can see they do have islands out here, but this is a great place to just hang out with whales. Like, you ever see those videos where the whales just come up to you? It's happening right here in the Baja, and that's not too far away from where you guys are located. Right now is the time of year you would go see the whales. If you don't want to go off the beaten path to these like really isolated places, just go to Cabo San Lucas or San Jose del Cabo and take a whale watching tour. Probably the best place I've ever been to see whales. Very active whales off the Baja, more so than even in Hawaii. And another place to go right near Cabo San Lucas that I really like is La Paz, because they have an area you can swim with whale sharks right here. You know, those big whale sharks, you could get in the water and swim with them right here near La Paz. And they have the best beach in Mexico right here called Playa Balandra. And I say this, yes, there is many islands right here like Isla Espiritu Santo. This one's a wild, they got some beautiful beaches right there in the Sea of Cortez on those islands. So yeah, I mean, a trip to Cabo is great. If you just stay in Cabo, maybe not so good. But if you get out there and you start exploring around the Baja, Mexico, oh man, awesome, awesome. Oh yeah, I have plans to visit Fiji and Tahiti for sure. Indo says, "Hi Jeff, love your content. I also have my own YouTube channel, but you can learn money and become a digital nomad." But are you asking me how you can become a digital nomad? Or how to earn money? I mean, that's a whole nother subject all in of itself. It's hard to talk about islands and talk about money at the same time. Because it's like, you know, when you're traveling, you're spending money, right? Airfare, hotels, food, transportation. I mean, it adds up. It really does. But yeah, you do got to see. I can get into the whole financial planning that I do. I mean, it doesn't. My system might not work for everybody. Marsden says, islands I would love to visit: Saba, St. Helena, and Key West. Saba. Is Saba in Saba? Let me take a look here. I'm thinking that's nearby Malaysia or Indonesia. So you want to go to Saba, Malaysia by Brunei? And then St. Helena. I've heard of it. I would have to oh wow, St. Helena? Am I in the right place? St. Helena. Okay. Oh wow, yeah, this is out by Cape Verde, right? So Cape Verde, oh my gosh. This is an area I don't know much about. That's great that you mentioned that, because that's cool. If you're talking about the South Atlantic islands, kind of off the coast of Angola or Gabon. Cool, man. That's awesome. What's up, DJ Pollywood? DJ Pollywood in the house, everybody. Yeah, we've been going now for an hour and 9 minutes. I'm probably going to end up wrapping it up soon. But someone said, hey, would you ever consider a Antarctic cruise? Yeah. Probably to get acclimated to that first, I would probably go up to Alaska and do the Inside Passage. And I would probably do like a cruise around Seward, the Kenai Fjords, this whole area. Man, I went up there this summer. I'm actually going to post a video that I made here recently about this place. But they have like ferries that you can go from. Like this one right here, let's see, where is it at? Not Seward, but it's right here, I think. Man, what's the town? Whittier. So you go from Whittier to Cordova, and it's just, you could go Whittier, Cordova. You could go all the way from Cordova to Valdez. Let's see, where's Valdez? Oh, Valdez is tucked up in here. I mean, that's an area, like, if you want to do some serious, like, beautiful stuff right here in these fjords. So you got Cordova, Valdez, and you got Whittier and Seward. Really cool. And then if you go south over here, you got Homer. Just a lot to explore on this peninsula alone, just in Alaska. But the Inside Passage is where I want to go. Everything from Ketchikan all the way up to Juneau. This whole area right here. And I think they have another one up in here, Sitka. Where's Sitka? I can't remember. I haven't been to Sitka yet. There's a lot of little villages out there. That's got my attention more so than Antarctica. But if I was to go to Antarctica, I'd probably originate down here in Tierra del Fuego. Tierra del Fuego. Probably in a place like Ushuaia. I've already kind of researched it when I went to Chile and Argentina, because they were trying to tell me go down to Punta Arenas, this one right here. That's not the Punta Arenas in Costa Rica. We're talking Punta Arenas in Chile or Argentina. But I'd probably originate down there, and then from there I would fly down into Antarctica. And I haven't done much research on Antarctica yet. The South Pole. But I did go to the North Pole. I went to North Pole up here in Alaska, up by Fairbanks. Let's see here. Where is it? Fairbanks, North Pole, Alaska. I wonder what it's like right now. It's probably freezing. Freezing. But man, it's the great outdoors out there. And then you go by Denali all the way down to like Anchorage. Crazy trip, man. Once in a lifetime stuff right there. Anyways, do you have special websites for your airfare? For my airfare, I book directly through the airlines nowadays, but when I'm researching, I'll use Kayak just to aggregate results if I need to get ideas of planes that fly out of the location that I'm in or to the location I'm headed. And then I go to the airline directly, Delta, so I try to set up as many airline rewards programs that I can be a part of, like Star Alliance. They have a sister network, so it's like if I fly on United when I'm in the United States, I'll fly on one of the sister airlines like Singapore Airlines when I'm outside of the United States because they're a part of Star Alliance. So being a part of knowing the networks of airlines is how I try to gain points, and then I always wanted to get upgraded to business class or first class, especially if I'm crossing the dang pond. Like, the most brutal flight that I ever did was from San Francisco all the way to Singapore nonstop. That was a beast of a flight. I did another beast of a flight from Sao Paulo. From Sao Paulo to Fort Lauderdale, that was, south to north. And then obviously you could only imagine the flight that I did from Montreal to London. That wasn't too bad. That was kind of fast. I did another flight from Portugal, from Lisbon to Dubai. That wasn't too bad. That was 7 hours though. It was 7 hours, so, And then I did Dubai to, Dubai's over here. I was over by Sinai Peninsula. Dubai, I was going to go Dubai to Sri Lanka, but I was having a hard time getting the visa. Or actually, I did get the visa, and then I said, nah, I'm just going to go to Singapore. Because then I was like, I'll just go to Bali from Singapore. So that's how I did it. I'm in Dallas on a tour with 555 Hex Crypto's Bach. Man, a lot of people are into Hex Crypto. Someone said Nevis is near Nevis is Saba. Nevis in St. Kitts? let me check this out. So you're saying Nevis and St. Kitts? If you're talking about Saba being near Nevis, that's Nevis right here. Where's Saba? I don't remember an island being called Saba down here though. Oh, it is. Oh my gosh, I actually haven't really. I'm not too familiar with Saba. That's cool though. Now I know. I knew where Nevis and St. Kitts are, but I didn't know about Saba. That one's kind of out there. It's an island I'll have to do some research on. All right, thanks to the 47 people who hit the likes. I'm going to call it a live feed here, and I'll see you guys on the next one. And thanks for watching.